With breaking news tonight, what New York's governor is calling a matter of life and death. He's the first governor to order a containment zone here in the U.S. and to call on the National Guard to help prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Tonight, the death toll here now tops 30 with more than 900 confirmed cases. And across America, life is changing rapidly.
I think I definitely became a lot more introverted during COVID because I wasn't able to get out there and form social connections with people outside of social media and whatnot.
I have become a much more anxious person because of it. I don't like being around people. I was very different in elementary. I liked hanging out with my friends whenever I could. But now I don't know, I like staying at home.
Very sheltered. I didn't get out of the house much as it was. I mean, the pandemic didn't help, but I kind of just lived in my room for a little bit and wasn't a good look for me.
Very mundane. I didn't do anything. I stayed at home because you were instructed to stay at home. I didn't really go anywhere. Not that I can remember, at least.
I was a TOSA East student when COVID started. I was a 2020 graduate of TOSA East, and so it's annoying trying to deal with a bunch of AP classes and not really having any structure in school and knowing what to do.
According to the World Health Organization, mental health problems amongst adolescents soared by 25% during the pandemic. Depression, anxiety, and loneliness became more widespread during the long periods of isolation, school closures, and the lack of social activity. 70% of teens said their emotional well-being was negatively affected by the pandemic, with many feeling more anxious and sad. The uncertainty about school, future goals, and the ongoing health crisis only made things worse. A study by the National Institute of Health found that 1 in 3 teens felt hopeless about their future, especially concerning education and career prospects.
Yeah, I would say as at the time I was working with elementary age students. I worked in elementary school here in West Allis. From the beginning when we first all went home to when we started coming back to school, it was really a different progression, and I'll say everyone had sort of different reactions or responses. I think at first there was a little excitement, but not in a way like people were happy about what was happening. It was just so different than what anybody had ever experienced or even thought they would experience. How are we going to make this work? How can we turn this situation that is not ideal for our students? Then I would say as we came back in the fall, there was not that same excitement. People were, tired of being in their homes. We still didn't know exactly, what learning was going to look like. I would say it was more, how are we going to make this work? With the idea that we were transitioning back to school sometime that school year. So yeah, it was definitely a progress. It was definitely I noticed and again, there's everyone has a different experience, but I definitely noticed, different, waves of how people felt about it. I think that the biggest way, and I don't know if I can separate out things like COVID and social media and in general people feeling less connected. I think in some ways COVID really led to people feeling less connected to each other. And the biggest impact that I saw was that I think for everyone, we're able to avoid, if you're somebody, and I'm like this at times too, if you're somebody who feels nervous or worried about like interacting with other people or going into uncomfortable or unfamiliar situations, the initial COVID lockdown really allowed you to do that. And that's what we were all doing because we were, trying to keep each other safe. But sometimes when you get too comfortable avoiding situations, you don't give yourself the opportunity to try new things or challenge yourself to be a little bit uncomfortable, interact with, new or different people. And that's the biggest, I think, long-term impact that I've seen is having some difficulty just, interacting face-to-face or working out, those challenges or those kind of moments where, you feel uncomfortable going into challenging or new or unfamiliar situations. I think, like, kind of on the flip side, though, I have seen that, like, through COVID, we learned to connect with each other in new and different ways, right? Like, it might not always be face-to-face, but I've seen students be very creative and resourceful about supporting each other and connecting virtually, using video calling and texting and, different kind of like social media and messaging tools to find support and stay connected. So I think that's like a pretty powerful thing as well.
The impact of COVID-19 on mental health was significant and highlighted the need for more access to supportive care. As our society moves forward, COVID proved to us that prioritizing our mental well-being is a key part of leading better lives. In the future, plans to support mental health should be better supplied in schools and workplaces.
Caca!